Welcome to Pink Ambitions, and we'll be doing the poem How to Learn How to Speak by Jeremy Cronin. So we'll be doing a line by line analysis in this video, but please be sure to check out my other video where I do a themes, tone, imagery, and overall summary. And I will link that video in the description box below. Anyways, let's just read this poem before we could do any explanation. And also remember that I'm actually so sorry for not having this image very clear. Anyways, let's read this poem. Okay, so to learn how to speak. To learn how to speak with the voices of the land, to praise speech in its rivers, to catch in the inaccurate grunt, stammer, call, cry, babble, tongues not, a sense of stoniness of these stones, from which all words are cut, to trace with the tongue wagon trails, saying the suffix of their eggs in Culpan Fontaine, in watery names that confirm the dryness of their ways, to visit the places of occultation or the lick in the veil bank dawn, to bury my mouth in the pit of your arm, in that planetarium, pectoral beginnings to the numb of time, down there close to the water table, to feel the full moon has its drums at the back of my throat, its cow-skinned vow, to write a poem with words like I'm telling you, Stompy, stick fast, goggle low van, shongololo, just boom bang, just to understand the least inflections, to voice without swallowing, symbols born in tin shacks or catch, the 5:15 ~5, Chan's Wingsburg train to reach, the low chant of the mine's gang, mineral glow of our people's unbreakable resolve, to learn how to speak with the voices of the land. Wow, such a beautiful poem. It's very South African orientated. It's also written by a South African poet about South Africa at the time, specifically about apartheid. Okay, let's go to each line. I will post a clearer picture of each line by line that we will be doing. So I have put this line 1 to 2 to learn how to speak with the voices of the land. So this is an opening establishment. The main goal of the poem is an ongoing desire to learn how to truly communicate. Okay, voices of the land personifies the countries, suggesting that language isn't just about English or Afrikaans or grammar in particular, but it's uniting the collective diverse experiences of South Africans. Okay, so language is a part of our culture as a South African. Anyways, lines 3 to 5 that are here. To praise means to break down English, okay? To break down English into grammatical components by comparing speech to a river. So this is a metaphor. This line is a metaphor in the poem, by the way. If you don't know what a metaphor is a direct comparison when we're comparing two things without the words like or as. So it's a metaphorical indicating that language flows, changes, and runs deep throughout the physical language. So there's a metaphorical indication that language flows, changes, and runs deep throughout the physical landscape. Lines 6 to 7. this is a form of alliteration right here. We can see the S sound that's being repeated. So it's also grounded. Language is in its physical material, so it's also a metaphor. So it's a metaphor and in alliterations, metaphorical components sculpted from the literacy stones to the land. So language is depicted not as an abstract, but as hard, heavy, and ancient. I'm missing out the T in this word here, ancient, okay? Ancient. Anyways, next slide. Lines 8 to 11. So we talk about wagon trails, reflecting and invoking the historical immigration such as the fur checkers. So if you know your South African history, you would know who these people are, and you would know about the South African fur checkers and the colonial history behind this. Next, so Afrikaans suffixes like, so these words here are particularly in an Afrikaans language, commonly used as a geographical location in South Africa. Okay, so this means pool, pan, and spring. Its translation to these three words. Okay, here's the English translation to these words. So the next lines are irony and it's very paradoxical. So through these places names refers to water. Okay, so this is situated in an agricultural landscape and confirming the dryness of their ways. So the poet suggests that the language carries the historical aches and hardships of those who moved across the land. Okay, lines 12 to 13. Occlusion refers to a blockage of closing up. So he's in logistics, it's the sound of the stop. It hints that the place where historical voices have been suppressed or silenced. So this is due to colonialization and apartheid at the time. Link into this line here. It is contrast the harshness and dryness in the early lines with a soft natural moment of renewal and life. Okay, lines 14 to 16. The poem shifts now. The poem shifts in tone and person in first person. So the poem shifts basically to an intimate sensual body imagery. The armpit is compared to a planetarium where dark skin prickled with sweat resembles a sky full of stars. Okay, pictorial beginning. The numb of time. So the intimate physical connection is being tied to the origins of humanity itself, reminding the leader of southern Africa is the birthplace of human communication. Now these words here, Stompy, Gololo, Van, Songololo. I'm sure that you already know these words if you're South African. You already know these type of words. So Stompy means a cigarette. Golovan, you might not know, but at that time they used this as a mining car. Okay, Solongolo. So Solongolo is either a Xhosa or Zulu word, so it's for a millipede. You know that little millipedes, yeah. Then the next lines. I'm telling you. So this is more into a conversational tone, colloquial tone. Colloquial means conversational. It's bringing poetry back to an ordinary people, So it's not too difficult. So also in these lines is to remember that the poet was using very high standard English, but now he drops to a bit of more slang, more colloquial, more profound here, and not very professional, but now he's using slangs instead, okay, local slangs that we know. This train, So here in particular, this is a place train in Joburg. A phonetic localized spelling of Johannesburg, reflecting how local immigrants, workers pronounce the name. The mine's name, Mineral Glow, references to the black migrant workers who traveled by train to work in the harsh coal mines of Joburg. You know how cold Joburg is. So yeah, unbreakable resolve. So it means that the poem builds to a political climax here, despite severe oppression. But the collective spirit and strength shows the resilience of South Africans. Okay, South Africans are strong and they were able to get through this. Okay. And now the last lines, 26 to 27. The poem closes with a refrain that mirrors 1 to 2 lines. So the first and second lines, now it's again repeated in the lines 26 and 27, but with a crucial shift from voices of the lands to voices of this land. Okay, always remember that in the second line, we use its voices of the land. But now we are being more particular and we're using the words with the voices of this land. So it makes its commitment personal, intimate, and grounded in South Africa's presence. Okay, the poem ends without a full stop. Okay, so we're reinforcing that language speaks truthfully and people is an ongoing, lifelong journey. And this is a beautiful South African poem. I hope you enjoyed it, and please do like and subscribe for more videos.